Welcome, everybody. I am Dr. Dream. You are here at the It's All Good Show. This is a sub podcast of the It's All Good Show, strictly focused on EESystem Center owners all over the world. And I'm sure this isn't the first one you've watched. If it is, I'm just going to tell you, this is one of my favorite things to be doing, is talking to EESystem owners. I had my own miraculous recovery in the EESystem energies that allowed me to heal myself after back-to-back strokes. And so I'm a huge fan of what this is all about. And Dr. Sandra Rose Michael, the inventor of the EESystem. And my interview today is with a center outside of Dayton, Ohio, Centerville, Ohio. And this is a center that Stephanie and I got to go to and facilitate our Sacred Sounds and Scalar Energy experience back in September of 2024. And that's when this center was just a year old. And we had an exceptionally good experience there. And I'm so glad that they took me up on the offer of getting to have a conversation with me. And I get more out of these conversations probably than anyone else. But I want to introduce you to Greg and Andrea. They are two of the partners at Energy Enhancement Experience, again, just outside of Dayton, Ohio in Centerville. Welcome, you two. It's nice to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too.
Now, of all the interviews that I've done, you all are kind of a unique situation there in that there's 6 partners. And so 6 of you got together and decided to open up an EESystem Center. I'm super curious, how did that come about? Like, what brought that whole experience about?
Wow. Well, that's an open-ended question. How much time do you have today?
As much as you want.
Well, Donna, who's another one of our partners, and my wife and I have known each other for a number of years, and we've been in several different book clubs together. We've gone hiking together. We've gone camping together. And so we've known each other for quite a while. And we've always had an interest in the idea of alternative ways to look at medicine, especially as we age. In my particular case, I've got family members who've had some very serious health issues, and we just got a little bit concerned with mainstream medicine telling us on a very regular basis the answer to every question you have is more prescriptions and or more surgery and or chemo. We decided that we needed to just broaden our outlook on what was going on in the world of medicine and try and find a different way to approach our health. And so that led us to do an awful lot of reading, watching a lot of seminars, podcasts, reading different books. And I guess, everything happens for a reason and at the specific time that it should. In the summer of 2022, and I forget if it was my wife, Ellen, or if it was Donna, found a video of Dr. Sandra Rose Michael, where she was talking about this technology that was a completely different approach to medicine and health. And so I saw it and said, wow, this is really something different, really something unique. What if we were to try and find a center where we could actually experience what this scalar energy was all about? So since we live in Dayton, we did a Google search, and the closest one was in Toledo, Ohio, which is 2.5 hours away. So Donna and Ellen and I drove to Toledo and spent 4 hours in a center there. And we were not sure what was going to happen. I had a near miraculous recovery of an arthritis situation that I've had in two of my fingers, where my fingers would just absolutely lock up and I couldn't move my fingers. Driving home from Toledo, about halfway home, it occurred to me that my two fingers were working perfectly normally. And that was the first time that had happened in years. And so I said to Ellen, I said, well, this is kind of weird. There must be something positive going on with this scalar energy. And so my wife said, well, maybe this is something we should seriously consider. So we ended up driving back to Toledo several different times. And in addition, we did an overnight at a center in Michigan. And so I think between Ellen and I and Donna, we probably had 5 or 6 fairly lengthy trips to get a better understanding of exactly what was going on. We concluded on one of our trips home that perhaps we should open a center closer to Dayton so that we weren't spending all these hours in our car driving around.
Right.
And so that was really the answer to your question, is how did we end up having 6 partners? When we decided we were going to do this, Donna reached out to EES and we got all of the information we needed. And we decided that this was such an interesting idea. Hey, let's see if we can find other people who might be interested in joining us on this walk to see if we could build a center in the Dayton area, not only for us personally, but for other people as well. And that's how we bumped into Andrea, and that's how we bumped into Eileen, and that's how we bumped into Colleen. And so that was kind of, how this all started. So we had several meetings where we sat around drinking coffee and talking about what it would be like to open a center, what was our vision for a center, how were we going to run it, where were we going to put it. So that's kind of how this all happened. And so what started out as seeing a video in the summer of 2022 led us to start looking for a place to build a center. And so it was roughly a year after we saw the video that we opened our center in the September of 2023.
Well, I love how the story has unfolded for you, and I often say that it's not just that initial investment, which is not a small investment, but that's just the first piece, and then it is the commitment and the dedication of the stewards of that energy, and it's the heart and the soul that's involved. And I can say firsthand, I've met both of you. I knew Donna before we came there, and I believe I met 2 other owners when I was there, so 2 other of the partners. So I've met like 5 of you. And we've been in your center, and we facilitated an event. And I have to say, just right off the bat here, we were impressed. We were impressed with your energies. We've been to 38 centers all over the United States, and you had an impact on us, and it was really nice for us to do what we do there, because you all had fostered such amazing energy in your center. And now hearing the story of how it all came about, and a lot of centers are, I don't want to say mom and pop, but it's, a husband and wife are running it, or maybe one person is running it and everything else. And to have that responsibility and that energy spread out over the six of you, however that works in the dynamics of it, I just know that it truly benefits your center. And so I think that's great. Now here's what I want to know. So right away, the fingers and the arthritis, before we talk about what any of your members have experienced, I want to know what you all have experienced, because more than anyone else there at your center, you guys have spent more time in it than anyone else. So give me an idea of share some of your personal experiences and what's changed for you having been exposed to this wonderful healing energies?
Well, for me personally, my health was a mess at one point. I once I had my son, my health just kind of went all over the place, and I lost 100 pounds and was battling some serious health issues before I ever even became a part of this. And once I became a part of it, I had an AFib issue, which is totally gone, and that's unheard of. You do not hear of AFib going away. My Donna and I both saw an improvement in our night vision, and I had floaters in my eyes that have disappeared, and my regular vision has improved. I've verified that with a doctor's appointment, and I personally have had Lyme for 30 years, and if you know what that's like, your joints are severely affected. And even and it also tends to bring in other bugs and illnesses and things that go along with it. So since I've been going to the center, my Lyme is no longer detectable, and I no longer have joint issues. And I'm working on some of the other issues, and they're slowly going away, and everything's improving for me. My immunity is much better. I also have diabetes, and my diabetes has improved. And overall, I have more energy and a better well-being. I'm much healthier than when I started. So my journey has been very significant.
Love hearing that. Greg, any reports from your wife or any of the other partners, how things have changed for them?
Yeah, my wife has, over the last couple of years, has had 4 major surgeries, and her doctors are absolutely astounded at how quickly she has recovered from the surgeries. And again, like you said, we have a tendency to spend a fair number of hours here. And so 1 and 1 usually equals 2. And so my conclusion is that in addition to my arthritis being gone, my energy levels are out of sight. For instance, I spent the night here last night, and after spending the night for 8.5 or 9 hours, the next day it's like I had 10 cups of coffee. And I'm not a young man anymore, but yet it's difficult for people to keep up with me after I've spent a lot of time here. So that's a huge plus. Another thing, my mother-in-law has been coming in on a very regular basis, and she's 86, and she has had a fair number of autoimmune and liver issues. She went back for a liver scan about 3 months back, and her doctor told her, again, he cannot explain why, but her liver function is now normal. And so, personally, we have seen a lot of very positive results among the partners and in our families. So give it an A+. How about that?
And I love it. You don't have to drive hours and hours to go anywhere anymore. I think that's
Right.
great. Now, you are coming up on, after the summer, you'll be having been open for 2 years. So a little over a year and a half, I guess, at this point. What have your members, your clients experienced? What can you share with us from outside of the partners?
Well, we've seen a number of clients that have had significant improvement in grief. It doesn't totally eliminate it, but it definitely helps with the process, grief processing and grief, the mood. We've had more than one person with Bell's palsy with significant improvements. We had one person who was who had fibromyalgia, and she was in her 40s and had not been able to go up the stairs for a couple of years. After 2 hours in the system, she was able to do stairs again, And she had children, by the way, so that really helped her take care of her children. And her father was the one that brought her in, and it just brought him to tears. He was so happy about the change in her just after 2 hours. We have one person who had a giant tumor on her neck. It has had significant reduction, if not completely gone at this point. She has not gone in for the final test to see if it's completely gone. We've had significant reduction in the time that it takes to heal after a surgery. We've had people say, my doctor said it's going to take 8 weeks, and it takes much, much less after going in the system. And we've had people with injuries. My son, actually, he had 2 injuries within about a month of each other. He was in a car accident, and then he also fell out of a tree and completely broke his leg in half and had to have a steel bar put in. He far exceeded the doctor's projections for healing for that. And I attribute that to him coming into the center. And again, we've had others with AFib improvement just like mine, and joint pain and vision improvement. We have one person who no longer has to wear glasses at all. A lot of people come in for the mental clarity and mood improvement. People with ADHD and complications from vaccines say that they've lost their mental clarity, and they come in here and they say after they leave here, they feel so much more mentally clear, and their vision is also so much sharper. And then we have one patient who has an issue with balance, and he comes in here regularly and says it helps him so much. And I think that's proof right there. We have so many people with so many stories. I think that's a good sampling of what we've seen, but it's endless.
I love that when I asked the question, one of the first things you touched on was the emotional aspect. So it's not just physical, and again, a couple of times you said mood improvement and mental acuity and everything, and I just love that, because some people think, oh, this is really just about something physical that's going on with me, and it's not just that. And so I appreciate you bringing that to light. Now, I'm sitting here looking at the screen, and good placement, you guys, with the camera there and everything, and the background. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, Nikola Tesla. And I'm like, oh, this is fabulous. And what I wanted to ask you is, even me being a holistic healing practitioner and well versed in multiple modalities and everything else, I sometimes stumble when I'm trying to explain the EE system. Now, you guys owning a center and everything like that must be pretty good at how you let people know about it. And right now we're out in California, and they're on the cutting edge of all of this and that. You're in Dayton, Ohio, and it's not, it's I grew up in Nebraska, and it's not always some of the things aren't always easy to explain to people. Let me just put it that way. What have you found, and how do you share with people about the EE system? What is it that you explain to them, or how do you explain it?
Well, the first thing we tell them is that it detoxes you at the cellular level and re-energizes the cells. So that puts you in the best state to have natural healing occur in your body, and to bring you back to where things are supposed to be, and to bring you back to square one so your body can heal itself. And Greg, you have some other ways that you'd like to explain it?
One of the things that I tell people is, at the very least, again, as you said, this is Dayton. This is not cutting edge. This is not East Coast, West Coast. And so there's a lot of people who are just non-believers. And what I tell them is this: you've got nothing to lose by giving it a shot. The very least that's going to happen after spending a couple of hours is you're probably going to fall asleep. And so you're going to get a power nap. And again, getting back to what is it a lot of our clients have said that they really like about our system and our center is they come in and they get an opportunity to just completely unwind from whatever is going on in their life and spend an hour or two relaxing, meditating, sleeping. And at the end of the session, just feeling recharged, reinvigorated, re-energized. And so that has a tendency for me. I try not to get into describing, okay, what is scalar energy and how the programming of the computers. I don't really understand it, so I'm not going to probably do a good job of explaining it. So I try and talk at a level that's up here and approach it from, okay, this is how I feel when I'm in the system. I feel relaxed. I feel happy. I come out of it feeling energized. My pain levels are reduced. For me personally, that seems to be the best way to communicate to people what we do.
I love that. For me, having gone to in 2020, Dr. Sandra's home in Las Vegas, she invited us down there for me to experience the energy. And I could barely get into her home with a walker. I was in a wheelchair and I was using a walker to get into her home. She had a 16-unit system in the back bedroom. And after 2 hours, I was able to walk unassisted, touching nothing, no chairs, walls, anything, to the bathroom. Stood up to go to the bathroom, which I hadn't done in 2.5 weeks, and came back. And my thing has always been, the proof is in the pudding, and the pudding just walked to the bathroom and Pete standing up. Mm-hmm. And so, it's not like I could ever really explain exactly. I mean, I get it. It recharges our cells so we can get into balance, that homeostasis, and then our bodies, as they were designed perfectly by God's source, the universe, know exactly what to do. The challenge is that most of our bodies are so out of whack with stress and bad diets and this, that, and the other thing is how do we ever get it to homeostasis? How do we ever get to that level that we can just allow it to happen? And so I'm always the proof is in the pudding guy. So I like the explanation there for sure. It just makes so much sense. Now, I really do. Your center was a great center for us to set up in. Your chairs are incredibly comfortable. Stephanie's not here right now, but I let her do a little bit extra packing up that evening so I could sit in the chair, one of the really comfortable chairs you have in there, and just relax. But we're not going to tell her I said that. I just really want to put it out there that if you haven't been to this center, you really owe it to yourself. And I would add, like, what do you have to lose? Well, maybe some emotional upheaval that's going on, maybe some of that brain fog that's going on, or, even more so, maybe that tumor or whatever it is. That's what you have to lose. But beyond that, it's worth it just to get there. Now, I don't recall the details, but I recall when I was there that, we always ask, oh, what are your deals and your packages and things like that. And I recall saying to Stephanie that I was hard pressed to think of other centers that had as good of discount packages and everything as what you all offer. And I don't think it's because we never know how long this video will be played out. So I don't think it's important to talk specifics about those numbers, because I know that those things change here and there. But it was impressive and had an impact on us, how affordable you all were making it for people to come there. And we know that it's not really just a 2-hour thing. I mean, if you're one of the really fortunate ones like I was, you may have some miraculous experience in 2 hours. But my whole 2.5 years of healing encompassed well well, close to 200 hours in EESystem Energies. And so, it's always been said that the most amount of time you can spend in the system in the shortest span is going to create the most momentum and get yourself to that place. We will have your website listed in the wherever people view this, and it's eesdayton.com. And you do have your packages and everything listed on the site so people can get a really good idea. And it's you all have done a good job making it available for everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do feel that we have a large number of people with very serious illnesses and autoimmune disorders and things like that, and they need more time in the system, cancer patients, etc. And we want to make it available to them as much as possible at an affordable price. So we offer things like discounts for seniors and vets, monthly packages, and we offer a free 2-hour session for veterans every first Thursday of the month. So we want to try and reach the people who really need it.
And you do offer overnights, is that right?
We do. Once a month we have an overnight on a Friday night, and I believe it's the third Friday of the month. Is that correct?
Third Friday.
Third Friday of the month, and it's from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And we have quite a few people take advantage of that, or have had a lot of people take advantage of that. And that's the best way to get a lot of hours in all at once.
Feels great. I'm a recipient of several overnights at centers around the country, and we absolutely love it. Now, just looking over my notes here to make sure I'm covering everything. As we're nearing the end of our conversation, is there anything we've left out, anything I didn't touch on or didn't give you an opportunity to discuss?
Sure. We do have other services at our center, which is unique from other centers. I myself am a Reiki master teacher and a pranic healing practitioner. I also offer spiritual counseling and intuitive development. I also work with child intuitives, and I also do chakra balancing, energy clearing. I do a lot of pre and post surgery support and trauma healing and mental balancing. And we have another practitioner here who does lymphatic massage, facials, and Reiki. And we have classes here as well. Greg does a free community meditation once a month. We have energy classes, sound healing 3 times a month. We have sound baths, yoga, Tai Chi, astrology, and Syntropy energetics.
Yeah, we're busy.
I love it. I love it. And I commend you, the two of you as representing the 6 partners. I commend you for taking up the gauntlet, as it were, and setting up this center and creating an energy around it that is so important for our communities. I think that a lot of the other centers could learn a lot from the way you all do things there. And you are, I hope your community knows how fortunate they are to have you all doing what you're doing there. And I am personally, on behalf of Stephanie and myself, tremendously grateful that we got to experience your center and to meet most all of you and everything like that. And Andrea, I'm looking forward to, even though I'm not, in the area or anything, I'm looking forward to that session that I'm going to experience with you over the phone. So it's not just limited to being right there outside of Dayton. But just to recap, you all are in Centerville, Ohio. It's the Energy Enhancement Experience, EESDayton.com, and you're just 10 minutes outside of Dayton, Ohio. And You get high recommendation from the Tour of Love and Dr. Dream and Stephanie. And thank you so much for making yourself available to be on the It's All Good show with me.
Well, we want to thank you for your tour and for all that you're doing to spread healing throughout the U.S. and for supporting all the centers. And we feel honored to be a part of this. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you again. It's been a pleasure. We've enjoyed it.
Thank you. You all have a great day.
Thank you. You
Take
too.
care.